Okay, I'm in West Virginia, and I just thought I'd take a little video. I don't know how long I'll be doing this for, because I saw that's a pretty mountain up there, but I also saw some other mountains beyond it. Like I say, I never driven a long way through West Virginia. Never came about that I would have to, but it's a pretty state. I mean, Virginia, Maryland, West Virginia, even Pennsylvania have pretty mountains. I mean, not only North Carolina, Tennessee. I mean, the Appalachians are amazingly large in size, area, north to south, and east and west, for that matter. I mean, it's just enormous. Anywhere you turn, driving from western North Carolina all the way up into southern Pennsylvania, like Hendersonville to Gettysburg, or vice versa, you see mountains. I mean, they're all over. It's amazing to me that, and I would be so lost if I were a pioneer or somebody trying to blaze a trail, or it's just amazing to me. But you can see the mountains behind the mountains there, kind of a mist there. I think it's a perfect sky to do this. If it's too sunny, it's too bright, it doesn't turn out as well, and if it's completely overcast, it doesn't give that bright or show that blue sky in between. So I'm going to keep this on for a while. I think I've got about 20 miles, so I make the next turn. Of course, my little GPS woman will tell me when. But it's pretty, and this is about I turned the video on now for West Virginia because it's about the prettiest it's been, and the best view, because I don't know why, it just is. And I think it will continue to be that way for a while. So we'll see, and that will determine how long I keep the video on. So you can see the blue sky there. Up ahead, it looks hope it looks as pretty on the video as it does in person. And my window is fairly clean, though. Let's clean it one more time. There we go. I thought of that before I put the video on, but anyway, a lot of not in the middle of nowhere here. I just came out of a little town east of Moorefield, I think, and I'm headed toward Elkins. And I don't think I took this as an alternative route to 81 just because I had the time, and I much prefer taking these types of roads to the expressways. I get really bored and tired on the expressways. And here I'm always looking for little gems, whether it be an old fallen down barn that looks like it's 150 years old, just like that one we passed, or just something else that catches my eye, not to mention the pretty scenery and the mountains and the streams. I crossed the South Fork of the Potomac River. Looked like it was raging. Of course, we had rain, I guess, just like the rain I had in Gettysburg, and this morning with the rain and the ice on the trees. So once, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be the houses like this the whole way. I can't imagine it would be. I think it's just like the outskirts of town, and then it'll get a little more rural, a little more just, I guess, more rural, I guess, less urban, right? Not that this is urban compared to where I come from, but that's kind of a cool building. It's a resort. Yeah, there are pretty little valleys in here, up and down these little two-lane highways. And I can imagine they probably started out as dirt roads, and maybe more even roads. Maybe there was just a path, or who's to say? But it is nice to have the luxury of driving on a road like this and stopping when you want to stop, and having all the conveniences that we enjoy in 2022, and having the GPS as well. Otherwise, I'd be lost as could be, or I'd be looking at the map every 5 minutes trying to see where I should go next. Which I like to look at the map and see overall picture, but it's kind of a bother when you have to look at it every 10 minutes to make sure you're on the right path. I guess we're entering a national recreation area, so I'm not sure what the zoning is. I know they can probably have, activities. Obviously, it's a recreation zone, so they can have all kinds of tours and little things. And maybe there's a river that they do kayaking or tubing down or whatever. But I don't believe, unless you're grandfathered in, that you can live in here. But I'm not quite sure what the rules are. There's a river over there to my left, and very, very, it's very, very swollen. Like I said, they've had a lot of rain. Oh, that's pretty up ahead. That is really pretty up ahead. The clouds are, this mountains are kind of covered in a little haze or mist or fog, whatever you want to call it. I think the sun and the air are sort of battling it out. The sun's pretty warm and the air's kind of cool. Let's see what it is. That's 44 degrees, even though I've been going south, since Gettysburg, but kind of a southwest. I wanted to go south, but I wanted to go west of 81 and go south. So I am now west of 81, and I will, for the most part, I think after the next turn, be going south more than west. Right now, I don't know what I'm going to do. No, right now I'm going like southwest because I see the sun where it is, and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's still pretty high in the sky. It'll drop quickly in the next hour or so, and then even more quickly, of course. It's that visual oddity of when it gets close to the horizon, it looks like it's going faster. If it is, so. But yeah, this is really pretty. So I hope that to keep this video on, so be prepared to watch along one if you want. I don't even know who I'm talking to. There's just a couple people that I know watch regularly. But I have a whole 14 subscribers, but I think one of them is my dad, who's passed. So it was originally set up. That's neat. That's a pretty, looks new too, resort. This was originally set up, this YouTube channel, so that I could send my dad videos from Chicago and such down to North Carolina. And that I could send them no matter what their length was. Wow, that's a raging river. That's got white water in it. It's got rapids, it seems, compared to everything I've seen so far. That's pretty. That'd be a really cool river too. I'm sure even if when it goes down some to tube or kayak. I don't know what river it is. Maybe we'll cross a bridge. Maybe we'll cross it and see. But let's see which direction is it going. It's always hard to tell. I know which direction it's going. It's got it going a little north right now. Yes, rivers do go north. What is this little area here? Oh, Blue Sportsman's Cabin. Like I say, it's a recreation area, so I don't know if there's any hunting and recreation areas. I've got to look that up and see what because there's state parks, there's national parks, there's wildlife refuges, there's the areas where you can't do anything, you can't bring anything in there but walk in, wilderness areas. So, and there's recreation areas, so they all have different sort of rules and regulations and parameters for what you can do and can't do, and what can exist there, grandfathered. And I know national parks you cannot live in, and even like Smoky Mountain National Park, when it was established in the 30s, they had to remove about 5,000 people, pay them supposedly fair price for their land, or whatever. But they left 3 sisters in there because it made such a hullabaloo. They were all single, and they were living together, and they were older at the time, and if they'd have forced them about, that'd have been a big backlash against the government. So those are the 3 I think that they allowed, if I remember right, to just stay in the park until they passed. And of course they all did eventually, but I think it took 25 years for the last one to go. And I think that was the right decision. It's nice, it's wonderful to have a national park. And Smoky Mountain National Park, 500,000 acres, 5,000 people. It's a shame you have to move them out because some have been living there for generations. And they should be compensated fairly for that, but it's still. But I guess it's one of those things for the greater good. You know, you can argue either way depending on the situation, but or should they have grandfathered everybody in it as they passed, paid the heirs, you know, whatever it was for the property. I don't know. There might, I don't think at this point there would be anybody that would still be living there. But there might have been, you know, 30 years ago. And it's just funny, now I can't see that ridge of mountains that I saw from when I was a little higher in elevation. Now it just looks like we've got hills on either side of me as opposed to mountains. But it's funny because when you're driving in these mountains, not so much in the west, because the west gives you kind of, well, it does do that, but it usually has more panoramic, larger vistas that you can see mountains in the distance. Or here you can get into these little valleys, little hollers as they call them, and not really know that you're surrounded or driving by a larger mountain up above a little ridge that you're below. So we'll see. I mean, I prefer to see the big mountains in the background. And a recreation area is not going to have as many interesting things in them because it's not have as many things in them that relate to people. And I don't know if we're still in the recreation area or not. So I know that I'm coming up to, yeah, it must be, it says hunter access, so maybe they can hunt in a recreation area during certain seasons. I do know that I think I'll be going through the Monongahela National Forest at some point. Not positive, but oh, that's pretty. That's kind of usually you see rocks like that, and maybe they were cut for this road, I don't know, but they look a little more natural than when they do cut them and blast them and provide a road. The river's still down there to the left. Some mountains up above, but again, you get lost. I mean, I don't know how people could do it on foot, and when there were no roads, there was no nothing. I mean, you can't. What do? Climb the tallest tree all the time and look and see where you are, even though I get back down off the tree and I forget exactly what I saw. Well, here's maybe, what is this river? Oh, no, Pendleton County. We just crossed the river, but it didn't say what it was. Now, maybe we're out of the recreation area now because you see all the little trailers here. Gotta be a little unincorporated town. A couple of old houses that are just completely have been falling down for quite a while. That was a nice little outcropping of rock there on the river. Now again, this is, February 25th, so there's no greenery to speak of other than the fir trees. And I don't see many rhododendrons like you do in North Carolina. Maybe that's a further south type of plant. Well, there's a bridge over a pedestrian bridge over the river. But it's still pretty because, like I say, the topography, just the fact that there's grass down there in the river, and some of the grass is a little green in patches, and you can see the fir trees amongst the deciduous up there on the mountain. They stick out because of their color. It's just always interesting. Like I say, that's why I take these 2-lane highways when I can, because I'm there. That's opening up. Oh, that's really pretty. Okay. Again, that's right there is the reason that I take these roads, because you don't see that from the expressway. You do see sometimes, even on 81, because you're driving along Shenandoah National Park. But again, you're seeing it from expressway, so there's trucks and there's cars and there's a rest stop here and there's a pull off here for a town, and it sort of ruins the ambiance, the visual for that I like, that makes you feel serene and relaxed. Of course, I don't know what that is. I wonder if I don't know what it is. It doesn't look like a hog manufacturing plant. I'm not hog manufacturing. Of course, that's probably not far off. Oh wow, there's a big and the sun's kind of shining big, I'm not going to turn my video, maybe you'll see it, but like a rock outcropping on one of the mountains, and hopefully I'm headed that way. It's turning, so to the left of in the video, we should be able to see that, and hopefully, I don't know if the sun's shining on it, it's just really bright rock, but there it is up there. Oh, that is really pretty. You can see it in the far left corner. That is really, really pretty. That'd be kind of cool to go up there. Very difficult to climb. Probably climb the mountain on the other side and then find your way down a couple of things just to explore it. Really pretty. Looks like almost like an opening, like a gap there between the two pieces of rock. And then somebody lives here too. That's really a nice thing to look back out back here in your backyard and see those rocks. I just like the twists and turns too, because you don't know what's around the next bend. I like it when I'm kayaking. I like it when I'm driving too. And again, on an expressway, that's very unusual. You can't, when you're on like 40 or 26, whatever, going through the Smokies. There is some of that, because you're just in the midst of the big mountains. But it seems to be more predominant when you're on a 2-lane highway and you're twisting and turning, and around every turn is a new look, and I do like that, because I like the change of scenery. I like the surprise. It's always nice out west it happens too, but a lot of times out west too, you'll see a mountain that's 30-40 miles away and just keep driving towards it. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger, but then there are, of course, many times when you're on a 2-lane highway out there, that every twist and turn is something new, and the environment changes because of elevation and all kinds of things. But here in the Appalachians, there's a lot of little older roads too. I guess I could have taken even roads that were more out of the way than this one. This is 219, but then I might not get to Hendersonville till April. I did that. There's not a lot of stopping along here for anything, but that's fine. I think there were a couple places where you could access the river. I don't know if it's that river or it was the South Fork of the Potomac, and I didn't do it only because, again, it's 3:15 in the afternoon. I don't know where I'm going to stay tonight. Do I stay in the car? Do I stay in a motel? I don't really want to stay in the car because I can't lean my seat back because I've got so much junk in the car to bring to North Carolina. There's an old place, abandoned place. I need to do some metal detecting in there. Not that I've metal detected in any house, but I would like to take that up. I'll be looking mostly for old coins. Not for value, just for the sake that they're old. Like, ever since I was probably 8 years old, I was fascinated by who had that in their hand, And the older it was, the more hands it was in. Not that you could ever determine that, but it just was fun to think about. And that's a fairly new house. And as well as that one, it seems. And they've got in the backyard, they've got the river there. I love the fact that I look back about a mile, there's nobody behind me. At least this is a really nicely paved road. It just looks like it's been recently marked too, so everything is very smooth and very pleasant, but it's not in an area that's not that many people, which is good too. That's what I look for, so I can go a decent pace yet not have to deal with traffic. Well, now there's a driveway for you. Yikes. Definitely need a 4-wheel drive for that. Although coming down, that's the worst part. Well, the sun is a little less than it was, but it's still light, and it's still, I'm looking at the video, it's still providing a kind of a cool sky. There's a number of mountains here that have those rock outcroppings. Another one to my left. I don't know if we'll be able to see that because, I don't know, it depends on how the road curves and turns. Oh, there's a barn out there. Old barn out there, and there is cattle out there, so you know, sometimes people have a barn out there. Maybe they live a few miles away. They were able to get that land, and they ranch a little bit, but they don't. Or this might be the house too. You never know. I'm sure years and years ago, we're talking 150 years ago, you had to live right next to your house because you didn't have the kind of transportation to get you to where your cattle were. But nowadays, oh yeah, there's that. I hope it turns enough to see that really pretty. Well, this is interesting. I don't know what it is, but it's got big pipes. Maybe it's a municipal thing, or it's I don't know what it is. Gas producing something or other. I can't tell. I'm looking at. Maybe I'll see it on this sign. Couldn't really see. But anyway, oh, there it is. To the left in the shot. Oh, that's an interesting motel, but there's nobody there. Is it closed? Is it? Must be shuttered, yeah. Or maybe it doesn't open till springtime. But yeah, there's a big, large outcroppings of stone there. Look at that. That's really pretty. Really pretty. I can imagine the only time I'd really want to see snow is when it snowed on those outcroppings. See, National Recreation Area. Maybe I'm back in it. Maybe we're out of it. I don't know. Seneca Rocks. That's the name of this little town. Well, I can see why, because of those big rocks.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto US 33 West.
Okay, I'm supposed to turn up here to my right. We'll see if that's interesting at all. And if it is, great. If it isn't, well, hopefully I have sense enough to turn off the video. Yeah, Elkins is that way. That was put that in my GPS because it put me in.
Take the second right onto US 33 West.
Still didn't say what that river was, and it's really raging. Oh, nobody here. Well, that's kind of cool. Harper's.
Continue on US 33 West for 35 miles.
Oh, that's a climbing wall on the side of that building. That's interesting. Well, you got the old and the new, right? Why am I saying right? Because that's rhetorical, of course. Elkins, 34 miles. All right. Go 55 here. I don't really want to, but if there's nobody behind me, I really don't want to do 55. I'd rather just do 45 or 50 and not have to brake around curves and take it all in. This is probably still part of the town. This is the suburbs. They're suburbs. Seneca rocks. It does rock, man. Seneca rocks, man. God, Lord help me. Oh, going up. This is always interesting too, because on a curvy road that gains in elevation, you're always wondering what you're going to see from up above. Because when you go up, you got to come down at some point too. So it always seems to lend itself to really good views of the surroundings area when you get up high. You know, if you could get up that high that you can see above other things, not be obstructed by trees, or be in a little valley up in the mountains and not see around. But normally it does provide better views and better vistas. So, and that would be happening right now. Ooh, baby, oh yeah, I like these roads. I like when I take my foot off the brake and the accelerator and just coast around. Now there is no sunshine. Gray and cloudy, and it's 41 degrees, but I don't know what my elevation is, and I have a feeling that I'm probably over 3,000 feet at this point. That's pure conjecture on my part, but that probably. Yeah, I'm just basing it on temperature and my ears. Oh, that's pretty. Look at the mountains up there. Very pretty. See, that usually does provide better vistas when you kind of go up and go down from elevation. There's a little house here. Oh no, it's a church. Yeah, it's a church. Oh wow. One of the old white churches, and then here's the VFW, and it must be a volunteer fire department too, or something, because got the big doors for the rigs. Can you imagine living here? It's not. There are some places out west where you're 20 miles from anybody, and they're not 20 miles from anybody here. But still, can you imagine? There's just you. There's an old barn across the street. Maybe just across the street where this was the dirt road. But you've got, sometimes just a solitary house, and there's nobody for a mile either way or more. Of course, this looks like a little town, which is really cool. I like this. Look at this little building here to the right. Yeah, I really do like stuff like this, because you wonder what got it started. Maybe it was a mill that got it started because it's off the river, and then you wonder when did it peak in population, and it's called Roaring Creek, I think, that was Roaring Creek Road, and really, one of those maybe that was a little touristy cabin thing back when the people first started driving their cars around the country in the 20s. Another little church. But are there enough people to support a church like that? I mean, when you look around here, it's like, God, there's nothing. I mean, counting the houses the last 3 or 4 miles, there's probably been 10 of them. Now I have somebody behind me. I'll probably pull over and let them go by, because I don't really want to go. That fast. A little farm in a little. Wonder how somebody said, okay, we're gonna a little cattle farm here because it's the only piece of flat land, and we're tired of walking or taking our wagon through here when they first came through. Just wonder how those things got started, or if it was later than that. Who's to say? I don't know. There's too much history to research. I've never. It would be, you have to have 100 people to do research. You find out about this house, you find out about this little town, you find out about that. I don't have the resources, let's put it that way. Pretty cool though. I've noticed barns out here have that little portion. It's almost like a, what do they call that on a house? Oh, I forget what they call it now. We've got a roof, or you've got a room up there, but it's right on the tip of my tongue. But it goes out from the barn up on the second story, and it's covered. So, darn it, I know what that word is for those things, and I can't think of it. There's water running off that. There's a creek. I'll pull over, but it's really hard here because unless there's a little town, there's really no place to turn off, as you can see. And not spectacular views right now. I'm hoping at every turn that there might be something that comes up that's really quite interesting. But although I love these rocks, I mean, I really do. I appreciate that change of scenery. I guess I could have pulled over there, but I hate to pull over on the opposite side of the road, because getting back on too. Whoa. Since I don't have my map app showing on my phone, I don't know how many miles to Elkins, but it's probably probably still 20 miles to Elkins. Make this little... I'm going up because I've got to push on the accelerator, and my ears are kind of going crazy. So, and then I can visually see that. I'm going to go up now, that's for sure. Yes, I'm going up. This is cool. I like this. I like. Well, I'm gonna go here if he needs to. I guess he's not quick enough to do it. I thought it was a little town up ahead, and it's the road. I didn't know what I was seeing. To my left is very pretty. It's where I came from, so it's way down low. Like I say, getting up like this affords better views. Either going up or coming down, or when you're up there, if you're up there for any length of time. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm going up a lot. In fact, the temperature dropped to 37. And the sun did go behind the clouds, and it's 3:30 now, so we'll be going down. And temp anyway this time. It looks pretty windy. So the trees are swaying and the leaves are making their way into the road. I'll let it go by. That's what I wanted it to do. Alright. Like boldness. Probably a native that knows this road like the back of his hand. Hand. I certainly do not, but I know I'm still going up. And now the temperature's 35. Hopefully it doesn't go 32 or below, because there might be some slick spots. Ears are really popping. Maybe there's a scenic overlook up here. I do know I'm going up. Yikes. Yeah, I've been going up for a long time, and still going up. I got gas in the last town, so fine there. But look at those signs blowing the wind. Oh, there's snow up here. That is so cool. I don't normally like snow, but up here, this is really cool. Well, yeah, it's 35 degrees. I'm sure there isn't much of the day. Probably a lot of them on the north side of the mountain. That's some significant snow. They must have gotten some pretty good snow up here. What is this? Oh, 3,295 feet. That was the Continental Divide. Well, that you see, well, way back then I thought I was above 3,000 feet, but I did get to above that 3,000 feet. Oh, that was really cool. Now this is pretty too. You can see the snow patches when I make this turn up on that mountain. So they did get some snow here. When? I don't know. Maybe it was when that big snow came through. Maybe this was all snowed in at one time, but those are the remnants. I guess I'll be going down for a while because that was the Eastern Continental Divide. Put my little gear shift down on here, even though it's not a stick shift car. Doesn't do that much because it really, but it does help a little bit so you don't have to lay on your brakes all the time. Yeah, going down. so I'm going to keep this video on a bit. I see another ridge of mountains up there. It's pretty cool. Looks like I'm going to, well, look, I'm going towards them. I don't know, you know, how that works, how that happens, but, or how that will turn out. 7% grade, that's significant grade. The highest I've ever seen was 10 or 12%. And that's quite a grade. Instead of using my brakes, it's nice to be able to throw that in there. Oh, you can pass me too, buddy. Somebody behind me now. He's got a little car, maybe he didn't think he had enough room to make it before nearing the hill. I don't mind going down faster if it's a straightaway. It's like the curves that you come up to. That's when you gotta kind of slow down a little bit. No kidding. Well, that's a nice little place. I don't know. God, I hope nobody lives in there. I don't think they would allow that in a national recreation area or state forest, so it's got to be on private property now. There's a creek. Or a creek. I don't know if it's the same one. Yeah, I'm coming down because my ears are, once again, reacting in the opposite way. Funny how you see houses, maybe they were put up in the 40s or 50s or 60s or 70s, but they'll have some other buildings on their property that look like they're 150 years old. They don't necessarily tear them down even if they're not using them anymore. They just leave them and they lean and eventually fall over, it seems. I'm sure that those that do. Let's see, St. Parks. Herman. Wow. Looks like a little, well, you think of a little coal town in West Virginia, you know, a little on the poor side. Oh, 23 miles, I was off. I guess, you know, you go on these roads like this and you're not really going 70 like you do on the expressway, so it does take a little bit more. I'm going to turn my heat on because it's getting cold in here. I'm going to pull over for that car behind me. He hasn't been going as fast as I have for the most part. Falling behind a little bit. There's the creek, the river. I don't know what determines the difference, but is it cubic feet per second or minute of flow? I don't know. And at what point? High season, low season? I've got to be a number associated with the difference between a creek and a stream, unless it's just a visual thing. You could call it Mississippi a creek if your perception is different. National Recreation Area. Okay. Next Spruce Knob, next left. There's an interesting little barn there that's part of a business or something, or maybe they're just advertising. Yeah, I don't know if I went too far with this video. I don't know how interesting this is, but I'm liking it because I'm here. And I'm just going to go a little bit more, another mile or two, and determine whether I'm going to turn this off or not. See what's around the bend, so to speak, figuratively and literally. It does feel cold, though. It is 36 degrees out there. Like I said, I'm still probably well over 2,000 feet in elevation, but the peak was 3295 on this road. Am I going up again? And if I am, but for how long? Feasible to do it for everybody behind me. It's not like this is a road that nobody uses. I'm going up though. Well, the pavement is wet, so if it drops below 32, gotta be careful. Oh, look at that water coming down. That's probably coming down from melting snow patch up there. That's where I'm headed up again, where I can see those little remnants of snow. Yeah, really going up. It's amazing. I mean, I wouldn't know. I mean, I've driven 20 miles or 30 miles through these mountains, since I really got into them, and God, I would have no idea where I am, with or without a compass. And it's just, I guess it was a slow progression of people, moving 1 mile after another and then connecting the little areas and such. But I gotta believe that, 150 years ago, or certainly more than that, everybody was pretty isolated. Like, I haven't been over there. I haven't left my place in about 35 years, but we're self-sufficient here. Did get out once before that, and I think it was in that direction over yonder there. I thought maybe we're going down again, but just a little dip. Very pretty to my left valley. I guess I'll keep the video on for a little bit more. Yeah, there's snow there in front. Yep. We are high enough for snow, so probably around 3,000 feet. Although we're going down again. Yeah, there's even snow a little further down from me. But now here's a 7% grade for the next mile and a half. I guess I don't use much gas when I do this. Those deer? Those are deer eating on, I think they're all deer. At first I thought they were fake, but I don't know why anybody have fake deer out here when you have real ones, but yeah, those were deer in that grassy yard. Now these I don't mind just taking my foot off the brake and coasting down because it's a straightaway. I don't see why anybody would put their brakes on this one. I have to because the Jamoke, the red car is doing it. I mean, almighty, take the advantage of it. I'm not going to be a curve for a while here. It's not even it's just a mild one. Then you got a hill, so you should have taken advantage of it. I'm sorry, I'm angry at him. Yeah, see, this guy's passing him. He realizes he's a Jamoke for doing that. Pull off for the guy behind me, it still leaves me behind this guy. The speed limit actually is, for the most part, 55 here until, except for the curbs, and he's just doing 45. And that's fine, but when he sees people pulling around him like that, and he knows there are people behind him, he should probably just kind of pull over. Let us go. Let my people go. There's another downhill. If we put his brake lights on here. Oh, very pretty to the left. Rolling hills and mountains forever. Oh, please don't put your brakes on here. This is more understandable because there's a curve right there, but still. Oh, Lord almighty, we're going too slow even for this curve. Come on, man. You don't have to slow. This is not no ice, it's not a big turn, it's a gradual curve. I put my foot on the brake because I know he's going to slow down. Another gradual curve, you don't have to slow down. Take advantage of gravity. Now you can take it from here. Gladys. Okay, don't put your brake on because you're going to go up. That's something you rarely see. Just a back end of a semi-trailer, two of them, semi-trailer truck, sitting in the middle of nowhere. Right for the pickings. Okay, going up again, and as soon as I see what's up, wherever I'm going, I'll turn the video off because now it's got just too darn long. And I can't even imagine anybody watching it even this far. still, that Adam curve, you'd have to put your brakes on already at that point. I don't know, so it's commentary. Sorry. What this is? Resorts. This is Alpina. Oh, an Alpine Motel. Now, here's a hill. Let's give it a little gas, buddy. Sorry this is so lengthy. Of course, you always have the option of whoever's watching it, not watching it any further, so I guess I shouldn't apologize, but Hope Springs Eternal, I always think that around the next curve is going to be something magnificent. And not that it isn't very nice, but there's nothing that stands out, right? At the last 10 miles. Let's see. Like I say, it keeps fooling me. Not that I'm hard to fool, but keep going up again and then moves down. I think we're going up and up and up and up, but we'll go up, 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 and then down. And here we go down again, so I think I'm going to probably be ending this video. Oh, we'll really be going down here. On this one, I took my brake. No, not so much. Cool. Enjoy the ride. Oh, that's a nice driveway. Yikes. Again. What does this say? Monongahela. He said that, so I know we're near Elkins. Well, I knew that anyway. Tell us what the river is. Nope. Big bridge over a river. Yeah, let's pass him. This other guy passed me. Alright, well, I think I'm going to end this because now I'm on a highway once again. And the speed limit is 65. And I can see cars way along the way, and we're in a little valley, and it's not. Water coming down, or is that? Yeah, that is. It's a waterfall right up there. Oh, that's cool. Very cool. With ice, and then that's a free-flowing waterfall. And then that looked like a tunnel. Wow. I wonder what that was, and it had a sign. Because it looked squarish. It didn't look like a naturally formed tunnel. Maybe there was an old railroad over here. Could have been. Even prior to the highway. Maybe it was the route of the highway that takes now. Anyway, that's it. I'm gonna sign off here. If anybody did watch this in its entirety, I would question your sanity and talk to a doctor. Right, thanks, bye.